This is the Voice of Bob. So, back in the 80s, remember, I'm old, I actually did a stint in college radio, AM 58 KJMC. It was a small station. And it was one of those deals where I thought perhaps either I'd go into design or I'd go into communication. And as it turned out, radio was consolidating. It was automating. It was also syndicating. Basically, all of the major players were consolidating around Clear Channel, which is now iHeartRadio. Clear Channel became such a toxic brand that they became iHeartRadio. And you also have other networks like Premiere. The point is, if you wanted to get into radio, the options for doing so were getting smaller and smaller. The automation comes from something similar to syndication, where your morning drive time shows are actually broadcast out of places like Florida. So you might have some local color sprinkled in, weather and traffic updates, but the actual people are outside of your market. So that reduces the slots even further. Now, talk radio used to think this was edgy.
Right.
When you really
that's what I said. He said, those aren't even the least bit offensive compared to what else he does.
Yeah. One of the jokes I made was, what do Japanese Jews like to eat?
What?
Hebrew National Tsunami.
What?
Which is as dumb a joke.
Yeah, what is that mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I want to go to some of our callers. Again, if you've dialed in 1-888 MSNBC USA, you can join us on the fastest growing television show on Saturdays. At least Saturday at 5 on the East and Saturday at, 2 o'clock on the West? And we're being rerun again tonight. I like that.
Now, with the advent of Apple's family of music players, telephones, came the podcasts. Now, the podcasts are right on that borderline of old media and new media. Some still consider it new media, but I think it's becoming a bit on the antiquated side. We'll get into that in a minute. There's a very specific problem with podcasts because of the model of how you discover them. It's all about discovery. And with podcasts, you have, a massive amount. Unless you know exactly what you're looking for, you're probably going to have a hard time finding it. Or at least you're going to have to go out and find it. That's called a push-pull model. Television, with all of its channels, is basically a push model. You sit back, it's delivered to you. It was more push when there were 7 channels. Certainly it could be argued that it's more pull when you get over 150 channels, or 300 channels, or 500 channels, but you still have a limited stable of primary networks that are delivering content to you. So that's pushed. Now, you have talk radio, which has evolved with podcasts, somewhat. You've got old comedians using it to talk to other comedians with WTF. You've got just about every topic under the sun available to you, if you can find it. But now there's something new. Something that's available on YouTube. And it actually crosses over from the pull model to the push model. Things like Google Group chats, periscopes, live streams. These are all brand new, or fairly brand new. They've been around a while, but now they're actually becoming mature. With people like Andy Warski, V, spelled V-E-E, Sargon, Mr. Medicare, Scott Adams, and a lot more.
Oh, I'm gonna have to make a video about this.
How many child porn
Hey
pictures?
guys,
do you
just so
have to
you
have
know,
in order to
Jim is a cunt.
You need to
And-
stop supporting pedos or Andamorski's coming for your families.
All right, everyone, it's time for a rebuttal to the Wall Street Journal, which name-dropped me yesterday. Get this. Story's interesting. The same dude who wrote that ill-fated PewDiePie article months and months ago, you know, about how PewDiePie's he's a Nazi, he dog whistles to racists.
Those headlines that have been circulating around for the last week, and it gives you a good idea of what old Harvey's like. Yeah, he's been a busy boy. Harvey Weinstein paid off sexual harassment accusers for decades. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. But this man is a living cherub. Look at those flush red rosy cheeks.
You were probably expecting Scott Adams here, but you were surprised. Because it's not always me. Sometimes it's my alter ego, the bearded lefty. Oh, you'll be hearing from both of us today.
Things like Google Group chats, live streams, periscopes. These are not only easier to discover because once you subscribe to a channel, you're notified when it's updated. You're notified when there's a live show. It goes right to the top of your subscription tab. So you can immediately go to the live stream and join in, or at least watch it. But it's more than just a broadcast platform. It actually provides engagement. Way more engagement than any previous medium. Yeah, you could probably email a podcast, but that's time delay. In the here and now, live, you can jump in and actually talk to the live stream as it's unfolding. Now on YouTube, it even takes it one step further. You can actually put some money in a tip jar virtually. And that goes ahead and puts your comment to the top of the list and increases the probability that it's going to be selected by a wide margin. So it's more engaging. And in cases like Periscope, which is far more intimate, you've got a mobile device that Scott Adams, author of Dilbert, is holding in his hand or has on his desk or on his kitchen table. And it's in his home. And so it is more intimate. His face is right there. It's less than a foot from the device. And he not only engages or has a dialogue with the audience, it's a two-way street. The audience engagement sometimes actually guides the conversation, whether it's breaking in to throw him off his guard, redirect, deflect, mix things up. Sometimes it's trolls, but oftentimes it's legitimate questions, and those questions break in and will actually then change the content. And sometimes it's just a straight up Q&A.
Did I see Schiff's tweets back at Trump? I did not, but I will. We'll check these tweets in real time. Schiff. Where is he? Adam Schiff. All right. So Adam Schiff who was mentioned in the president's tweet as Little Adam Schiff, has retweeted the president and added his own commentary. So Adam Schiff says, Mr. President, I see you've had a busy morning of, quote, executive time, making fun of his tweeting time. Instead of tweeting false smears, the American people would appreciate it if you turned off the TV and helped solve the funding crisis, protecting dreamers, or really anything else. So here's what we can determine about Adam Schiff. He's not good at tweeting.
Scott Adams spent a lot of time on the public speaking circuit, but he had to drop out because he was talking at universities. And if you talk about Trump and you don't call him the devil, universities don't want to talk to you. He's even removed himself from the corporate circles because potential or eventual blowback that they may have to deal with, and then they would have to cancel him. So he sidesteps the problem. So instead of his old speaking platform, he has the new platform, which is Periscope. Periscope was purchased by Twitter, and it resides somewhat separate, but it's connected. And there's a lot of crossover with the audience. And that audience engagement, as I mentioned, is a two-way street, and it's live. And when you have a live medium, you can get into some very interesting situations. Because an audience that's live and is hanging on your word can take an idea and run with it. And when they do that, that can create very interesting, unique, and compelling mayhem opportunities.
Everyone, throw out a fucking quick tweet there.
Copy and Philly D too while you're at it.
Philly D.
Yeah, chat. When you're throwing out that tweet, make sure to say Andy Worski's coming to kill them.
No,
Make sure
yay!
you spell the name correctly because
Yeah.
he's making death threats live on a stream.
Mr. Mac.
Yeah, you might want to mention that he would rape and then kill them.
That's the important bit. Don't want to leave the details out.
Yeah.
Yep, the tweets are starting to. Yep, here we go.
Ooh.
Here's one tweet that says, at Hasbro News, Andy Worski is coming to butcher you with an axe. Nothing can stop him. He thirsts for blood.
There's a picture of me with an AK-47 at Hasbro News with hundreds of other tweets suggesting that if they don't stop the pedophile ring,
I like that. Adam Adolf Worski.
I'm going to punish them.
Check this one out. Pull this one up, Andy. You'll like it. It'll make you feel better. I promise.
Ethical CP magic card. Target opponent under 12 years of age is now forced to send you. Oh no. V just sent me a DM and
He's back on.
he took a quote from what I said earlier and wrote I said this, he goes, it's just it ends tonight, 2017.
Ah.
Fucked. Fuck.
Did you just say Kyle?
No.
Adam Adolf Worski.
So as you can see, the audience can not only shape the content, they can participate actively and do things in real time that audiences never could do before. This is far more compelling than any previous medium. And that's why YouTube and Periscope really do represent the new talk radio. We'll be right back.
Introducing the Tiddy Bear. That's Tiddy Bear, the cute little guy that eliminates all those irritating shoulder strap problems. Designed to make driving more comfortable, the Tiddy Bear snaps onto your shoulder strap and moves up and down to eliminate uncomfortable pressure wherever you need it.
My shoulder strap used to pull so tight I could hardly breathe. Now with the Titty Bear, I really enjoy traveling again.
With a patent-pending swivel design, you can easily adjust the Titty Bear to work from either the driver's side, passenger seat, or infant car seat, and it fits on all makes and models. Kids of all sizes love the cuddly Titty Bear, and the secure snap-on button makes the Titty Bear safe and fun for infants and small children too. The cuddly Titty Bear is so comfortable and convenient to use, your whole family will love it.
If you're in and out of your car all day like I am, you're really going to enjoy the comfort of the Titty Bear.
Now you can have your own Titty Bear.
Another thing to consider is that the mainstream media has really made talk radio dull.
Marvelous technology is at our disposal. Instead of reaching up to new heights, we're trying to see how far down we can go. How deep into the muck we can immerse ourselves. What do you want to talk about? Baseball scores? Your pet? Orgasms? You're pathetic. I despise each and every one of you.
The new talk radio, or the new platform, or whatever we're going to call it, has provided a platform for free speech and topics the mainstream media would never touch. And I mean ever. Sometimes it's just because it's more spontaneous. Less filter means genuine confrontations versus scripted matchups.
Maybe I'm biased, I probably am because I'm a lefty or whatever, but my perception of reading through the information is that it was purposeful hitting.
All right, that's your
with a car,
perception.
you
That's
know?
your perception.
Yeah.
My perception. My perception is this is a young man whose car was attacked by a bunch of rabid protesters in the street, and he hit the gas when he panicked. Okay, and we know because we've seen there's precedent for this behavior by Antifa of surrounding and attacking cars.
Why isn't anyone on your side dead? If we're so bad, how come we haven't started killing Nazis?
Wait a second.
There have been killings though, but like
in the United States of America, have there been killings by Antifa? Have there been killings of have there been killings of the alt-right by BLM?
You have to understand. You have to understand. You understand you can be violent without killing somebody, right? You understand that?
Who showed up in Charlottesville with AK-47s?
People have a Second Amendment right to carry those guns. Leftists also showed up in Charlottesville with
Who
guns.
showed up? Who showed up in military fatigues and would carry AK-47s?
We have people, dude. You understand? We're in the United States. People can wear military fatigues. People can carry guns. This is fucking America, pal.
A lot of your previous or existing or terrestrial talk radio is really staged. It's filtered. It's produced. The calls are screened. So it has to match the on-air narrative. It can't deviate at all. Basically, that means the spontaneity is gone. And that's dull. However, more importantly are the topics. They're very constrained by the people who own or run or produce those shows. They're only going to work within a certain narrow bandwidth of content they're going to produce or present. For instance, the number one worldwide live stream that happened in January 7th of 2018 happened on Andy Warski. There he was talking to Richard Spencer in a group chat. And it went global in a very big way. Richard Spencer is a controversial figure. He's representative of the new alt-right. Alt-right's kind of a nebulous term. It's actually mutated quite a bit last year, but now it's solidified around people who are identitarians, specifically looking to create the concept of a homeland for white people. Like I said, it's identitarian, and I don't agree with that. But more importantly, it's interesting to hear about it, because you wouldn't hear about it anywhere else. People say he shouldn't have a platform. But how are you supposed to know what's out there if no one tells you about it? The idea of creating a homeland for white people without, hopefully, the violent overtones of eliminating other races, but actually just going on an island somewhere and creating a monoculture. It's not out of the question. I don't see a lot of mixed or hiring diversities in Chinese factories. By virtue of odds, granted, you've got a lot of territories and provinces in China, but you don't have a lot of African Americans. You don't have a lot of Hispanics. Nothing wrong with that. And if they want to go be racist somewhere, be identitarians, go live on an island somewhere, more power to them. They're out of our way. That's fine. I don't care as long as they're not causing trouble. The further erosion of the mainstream media comes not just because of listeners being able to interact, but because of topic engagement outside of the safe spaces of corporate programming picked out for those narratives that are very narrow. Because if it isn't the same topic over and over again, or just recycled commentary about the news, it again is always going to be guided by the DNC. And I say that specifically because most of your media exists specifically within a very narrow range that is only allotted by liberals. I don't mean to pull the liberal card, but honestly, how many program directors are registered Republicans on television or newspapers? How many people who are calling the shots are going to let a Richard Spencer on? Richard Spencer, by the way, isn't just your foaming at the mouth racist. He's very intellectual, and he requires a good panel that can match up with him. And that's what they did with Sargon and Styx. Sargon didn't actually do too well. But Styx and others, they held their own. And it was engaging.
Yeah, go ahead there, Richard. This is so autistic. I mean, look, do you pay taxes? I'm just curious.
Richard,
Do you obey traffic laws?
It's the white race, so it's actually.
I ask a very simple question. Do you pay taxes? Do you obey traffic laws?
Yeah, believe it or not, I do.
Well, but wait, do you believe in group rights? I mean, do you?
How is that group rights?
Because you're forced to do that by the state. Did you sign a contract in
But
order
what
to
group
be a
is being
citizen
given
of the
special
UK?
rights?
The United Kingdom, obviously.
Right,
Why is
okay,
that funny?
Okay, so we want to talk about the nation state. Is that what you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about racial identitarianism?
Is the nation state a group or not?
Is racial identitarianism something I have no choice over?
Why don't you answer the question I asked
why don't you
you?
answer my question?
Well, I ask you a question, you haven't answered it.
Okay,
Obviously, the United
let's
Kingdom
get into
is
we
a group
with Tang's white
that has
people
power
position.
over you.
If you want to come out aggressive, we can do that. But I was just happy to have a nice, normal conversation. Can you do it?
Okay, I'll tone down the animosity.
Media dominated by one side is intrinsically boring. It's boring. You don't actually get to hear what's going on outside of the bubble, the echo chamber. And if you don't know, then when it shows above the surface, when it actually comes on the radar, what are you going to do? You're going to have no background for a reason response. You're going to freak. But the new media provides a spotlight on the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's what free speech is most valuable for. Free speech isn't for making content or providing a platform from content that you agree with. Free speech is best served at showing ideas that you probably want to stay the hell away from. At least you can identify it so you know what it is, so you can stay away from it if you want. Or at least find out alternative viewpoints and arguments on topics that you could never imagine in your wildest dreams. Without unimaginative scripted narratives and overproduced pat on the back masturbatory call-in shows where everyone says how great the host is. First time caller, long time listener. Aren't you great? Doesn't that get boring? I think it gets very boring. But without that, without those day after day tedious scripted narratives, you can blunder into people who actually reveal some very horrible realities.
Okay, so what compelled you to look at you like you thought that was cute? Why were you looking up naked kids in bathtubs in the first place, Ross?
Because I wanted to fucking find. I thought, like, why not? Pretty much. What you mean? Why? What's the reason why? Well, because, like I said, dude, like I thought they were cute. That's the reason why, dude. Like, why do you have to go into this so much? Really?
Because you're on a live stream talking about naked children in bathtubs, Ross. That's kind of fucking weird. And you're like, well, you thought they were cute. That's not like a normal adult thing to say, is it?
Oh my god, that you can't be taking it that way, dude. Like, are you serious?
Well, how would I take it? You're a grown man saying you're looking up fucking videos of naked kids in bathtubs because they're cute. Well, how should I take it?
That was an episode from Jim Medicor, who stumbled into a group chat where one of the people who were chatting was a pedophile. Semi-closeted, but he blurted it out. And when challenged, he continued to try to justify his behavior. And as that blew up into another controversy, he was exposed as an actual danger to the public. Again, none of those talking heads on CNN or MSNBC or any of those guys would dare walk down that path. They would have been screened out before they even were allowed in the building. How the conversation was supposed to proceed would be completely controlled. And most recently, anyone who falls outside of that equation is actually cut off. You see that a lot on CNN nowadays. If the person says anything outside of the narrative that has been cleared by CNN, they say, oh, I think we just had a technical glitch. I'm sorry, we lost the feed. That's too bad. But it's not, because it's that kind of boring, overproduced nonsense that's driving more people in greater numbers to the new media, to independent media, to YouTube live streams, to Periscopes, to Google group chats. And they're finding out what real people think and what they can say when they're challenged with real dialogue and ideas that they won't get from the mainstream media, now more than ever. People say the conservative viewpoint isn't shut out. It's on radio. But if you look at the number of slots, it's diminutive, infinitesimally smaller than television. And television is ruled by the liberals. Again, just ask how many of these guys are registered Republicans. And whether you agree or don't agree with a conservative viewpoint isn't the point. The point is to know what the other guy is doing, What makes them tick? What are they thinking about? Because the more you know, the more you can find out what the people who voted for the other guy think. And you can actually step outside the bubble and participate, actually truly participate in a real democracy. But if you're only getting half the picture, you're not getting a fair shake. You're not getting what you need to make informed decisions. You're just being told what you want to hear. But what you want to hear should be the stuff that challenges you. The stuff that says, I never considered that, and I'm not sure I'm ready for it. Or in the case of chat live streams that expose pedophiles, it actually helps get future criminals off the street, shows a limelight, actually shows what's wrong with large chunks of our society. And that's what unfiltered media is all about. And that's why it's important that we embrace those opportunities that are presented to us to make the world better. And again, to actually make democracy work. And that's what it's all about. This is the voice of Bob. Take care, everyone.